Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the charts behind me, which are of AMC and GameStop. Also happy to go over any tickers that are requested. And also I did want to note that just before this stream, I did host the first ever members only live stream starting just an hour before. Unfortunately, there's only one member, and that member did not show up. So, that's something that I will kind of experiment with if you guys would like to do it. It's for the live streams, it's $1.99 per month, or you could do just where comments are prioritized, and that would be 99 cents a month. And so I did do a little video on the memberships. If you guys are interested, you're welcome to do that. But if it doesn't seem to really pick up, I may not do that. But I do think it is kind of, a nice reminder for me, at least, that in growing this channel, I really need to be thinking about it as a business and just trying to experiment with different strategies and things like that. And oftentimes, a lot of the videos that get requested, they actually don't perform that well. So I do think it's good for me to be kind of factoring in what I think will be performing well, and then that will just give me really more time to produce more content because I'm producing stuff that doesn't get many views and ends up draining me a little bit. But hey, Oleg, what's up? Unity software, please. So I'll look that up. And Leonard, let's see. I'm just going to type up because there's a heart emoji that, hi, thanks for liking my post on X. Yeah, no problem. I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about, but I can flip through the comments and notifications and stuff. What's up, Mac? Let me know what you want me to go over. And so I'll pull up Unity software. So that's just ticker symbol U. And let's see. So this is going down. And is that, all-time lows that we're looking at? Oh, and also I should mention this. I was just talking about the membership and stuff. What I'm probably going to do, just because I end up getting burnt out trying to keep up with videos and stuff, and also putting timestamps on live streams really just drains me. And so I'm just going to try to limit this stream to an hour, and I will time that based on how long it takes me to finish this. So cheers, guys. Happy Sunday. Happy Father's Day if any of you are fathers. I am not. I unfortunately didn't see my father today, but I will see him on Tuesday, so no big deal there. But cheers to all of you guys. Happy Sunday, and I'm excited for the week ahead. Cheers. And so, looking at Unity software. And so, Mac, yes, big. And before I get into Unity software, I'm just going to pull up big, just so it's on the list there. Mac is saying big has a moving sell wall. I saw someone post how it literally moves, so no matter the price, the buy and sell walls. Nobody really watches the lives on rerun, do they? Some do, yeah. Actually, the numbers do go up after I've streamed. People do go through them, and if I don't put timestamps on them, people will request them. I didn't for the video on Friday because it wasn't that popular, or the stream on Friday, but for ticker requests live, I think because it is just so dynamic, there are so many tickers that I cover, people really do like to, view what I have to say about them. But as far as my focus with the channel, live streams, not that it matters so much, but they are really not profitable. I make I think the best performing live streams probably an earnings call, and that's maybe $3. Whereas if pretty much every video that gets 100 views, it gets about $1 in ad revenue. And so, I feel like I need to kind of shift my focus more to that, and just the videos that I think, or the tickers that I think will perform well. And that really depends on time, what's going on in the market. And so I do have a list of them for tomorrow, so I can share that at some point during the stream. But I will go over Unity software right now. And so one thing that does stand out with me about this is it looks like it might be in kind of a trend channel. And so I'm basing this off of. So this is, I can pull up the info about this if you're interested, but those channels are based on, let's see, one standard deviation, top and bottom, based on the range and then what that is relative. Hey, Mac, thank you. Watching DJT. Cool. Yeah, I put out that video because that won the poll, but it was actually not that well received of a video. So it's, yeah, like whenever I do polls, whenever I take requests, while it might satisfy the individual viewer, but I feel like as a whole, as far as, and it's not necessarily that videos need to get more views so I make more from ad revenue, but that there's just a wider reach. The wider the reach, the more the channel can grow. Mac, just so you know, that was your 20th. I guess it says it in there, but that was your 20th super chat. So, yeah, so thank you for that. And happy to be your 20th. But yeah, so looking at Unity software here, I mean, it looks like it's in this channel and it looks like it's around the bottom of it. So I don't know what your position is as far as wanting to go long and like diamond hand for years, or if it's something you just want to trade. But based on how it's been trading within this range, it's in the bottom half of that, pretty close to the bottom of that channel. And, price is at 1640. Getting to the bottom of that, it looks like it could drop $14 to $14, $14.30. So that there is a potential to get down there. But if it does even just move to the midpoint of that channel, that would be getting to a move of 60% to the upside. I should note as well, this is, I drew this based on the weekly time frame, so maybe it's better to look at this on the daily. And so, yeah, I think it's an appropriate time to begin that, but maybe I just begin it following that gap down, so it's based on this close. And if we take a step back, let's see. Oh, man. Yeah, so, I mean, we did get, the only time that we traded below this, which is fit to the candles, it's fit to the data. So, it's not something that I've drawn, it's just basically calculated from the chart. But yeah, I mean, this, moved down, but then it gapped up to that level. So I find that pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, getting to the base of that channel, really more like $15, $14, that was based on the weekly. So I think that this is probably, I also did adjust this to after that gap down. But yeah, coming down to like $15 a share, I feel like that's the downside. And from there, moving to the midpoint of the channel, yeah, it's like a 60% move. So I feel like Unity is in, this red is, in the buy zone. You might have to, like, if you just dollar cost average when it's in the red, you'll make money. And so it's in the red. And so now I think it's a good time to dip buy. It could be a good time to dollar cost average if it does go down to 15. And if it does go down to 15, maybe that's a good time to load. But just because it's been following this trend line doesn't mean it's not going to break it. Maybe it could. But, until then, this looks pretty good. So I think it's a really interesting chart. Yeah, I mean, it's gone back to more than 2 years ago. It's been in this channel. So, and it has this, pretty massive, this is a 60% drawdown coming from the highs of December of 2023. And so, yeah, I think that this could be bouncing at least to, let's say, $25. Be conservative because this is a downtrending midpoint. So, yeah, I think Unity looks really good for a dip buy right now, and maybe dollar cost averaging down to 15. If it breaks 15 though, I mean, this, like, you can just look at it here. It broke below that that line, and you could think of this as you got a wick below but no close below that line because it closed right at it. And then here you got a close below and also a close below that previous day's low. So you could think of that as, okay, this is really, I mean, like what we're seeing here, these are indicators that there's confirmation of it breaking below because you're getting closes lower than the previous day's low. But this was a fake out, as it turns out. This was a sell off before earnings. I feel like it was a sell the rumor, buy the news event. And so, yeah, I think that this was a fake out, this confirmation of a break below that level. And so if we do get some closes below this downtrend, maybe it's a fake out. So do be cautious of that. I think it looks like, 6 months from now, within 6 months from now, I think it could definitely be up 60% from where it's at right now. But maybe it breaks that level. So cool chart, but I'll just leave it at that because I'll just continue to ramble with it. PFA, 100% all the way. And Mac is saying July 15th through 18th is the convention. Every single VP announcement has been made before a party's political convention. So maybe it hits 35 and then pops because that announcement is coming. Will be on Truth. Okay, so you're referring to DJT. So yeah, I'll look over that. Oops. So the video that I did, I don't really look at DJT. It's not one that I follow too much because I do feel like it is one that gets pumped a lot, and it's not necessarily one to diamond hand, as a lot of this move was retraced, really coming down to here. And so what I suggested in the video that I put out is, I think it was just kind of like happenstance. I think I drew it in the video, this parallel channel. Or maybe I didn't, but, just it felt like happenstance when I drew it that, just from these 3 pivot points, it does seem to correspond with these highs over here. And so I could view price as, just like I showed with Unity, that there were some breaks of the channel that it was in, let's see, taking a step back. So this is not a parallel channel. This is just a trend channel based on the price action. But we did get, a fake out break here. So maybe that's what we're seeing with DJT over here. Sorry for zooming in and out, kind of a crazy fashion. But yeah, maybe this is a fake out break, but maybe it does retrace to the 618 or the golden pocket here. That'd be around $35. But, I could see that as a potential fake out break of this channel or a dip buying opportunity before it moves to the upside to retest the top of it. And so that could be over here. And so Mac is saying that July 15th to 18th is the convention. Every single VP announcement has been made before a party's political convention. So maybe it hits 35 and then pops because that announcement is coming. And so July 15th. Now let's just look at that. So, I drew this measurement, that I was just trying to connect it with the top of the channel, and that coincides with July 5th. So what I could see is actually in that time frame, because let's see, I don't need to draw anything, but July 15th is out here where the cursor is. So what I could see, maybe price could just be hanging out around the bottom of this channel, around the bottom of this parallel channel. But what I feel like seems more likely given the time frame is that it moves up to the top of the channel, and maybe the VP announcement, whatever, corresponds with, if that is to be associated with this, given that this stock is, not political, even though it, by association is political. And so I feel like that could be a sell the news event, and that price, if price does seem to be moving down to, this golden pocket here, I would think that it would have the potential to move up to the top of the channel. That's like a 30 to 40% move. And that could correspond with the beginning or middle of July, and maybe there's a sell-off then. But yeah, I find this channel, and I feel like a lot of it is just the happenstance of connecting these 3 points and seeing this one, touch it perfectly, the high of February 15th, and then the high of January 23rd being pretty close to it. So yeah, I feel like this channel is one to be paying attention to, and I think that what we're seeing now is more than likely, and of course I could be wrong, a dip buying opportunity to see a test of the top of it. But I feel like this is not necessarily a long-term diamond hands play. I feel like it's a more trade the channel. And right now it's in discounted zone. Maybe, quarter of a position here, quarter of a position at 35.53, and then maybe half a position to fill that up at around 34.50. And then, from there, whatever that average is, there'd be a lot of upside to test the top of the channel. So yeah, I find this one pretty compelling as far as trading goes. But long term, because, who knows what's going to happen as far as politics go. Because maybe even let's say Trump wins the election. Maybe that could be a bad thing for Trump media because then he'd have less time to devote to it. So that could be like a sell the news event. So yeah, I feel like this is one to not necessarily I think this is one to trade. So yeah, I think it's an interesting chart. So let's see. Samuel's saying, first time I'm ever voting Republican. I'm supporting Trump, especially since he's getting treated unfairly. And so for me, for my stance on the channel, I am indifferent. I have no political views and legit pretty much on the channel, off the channel. That's kind of my stance. I will vote, but I'm pretty much going to be keeping that private for most people. So on the channel, apolitical. I just want to talk about charts. But yeah, but I feel like a lot of people have, it's been a very, I feel like this is kind of, you could probably look back in history and just see how, rises and falls of things. And I feel like with what's going on in the US, there's just so many changes going on, birth rates going down, things like that I feel like we've kind of peaked. And so it's an interesting time to be alive, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the future looks bright. Who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, I don't know. The pandemic really, made me less, passionate about that stuff. Because I feel like either way, we're getting screwed. So, meh. And Oleg says, thanks for Unity. There were year ago buyout proposals presenting 58 USD share price. My play is that AppLovin will propose again buyout or even Meta repeat buyout proposal. Yeah, so let's just pull back to Unity. Yeah, so just looking at the chart, this is not too extensive of analysis, but just looking at this, with it being not only in the red, but near the bottom of the red, I feel like it's buy zone. And if you're talking about 58 USD share price, that is coming up to, let's see, the cursor's right around here. And that does correspond, actually that's a really interesting price because that corresponds with the high over here. So maybe there's a double top that would be formed around then. And once that's complete or that price is hit, maybe that would be, kind of a sell the news type of thing. And so from current price or right around current price, a little bit lower than it, but moving to the upside there of $58 right around that price, 200, almost 60% move to the upside. So yeah, I think that this is a good one to hold for, let's just take a measurement in time of this down move from here. That represents 163 days, less than half a year, let's say 5 months. So 5 months from now, there could be a lot of upside for this one. So I find this chart to be kind of like an emotionless chart because it's just clear. I don't have to draw anything else. And, whether I want to hold it to 260% and, in all honesty, I don't have a position. I don't plan on establishing a position, but even just moving to the top of this channel, I believe I said that's a 40% up move. No, that's actually the middle that's 60%, but the top of that channel, that's over 100%. So yeah, I feel like this is a really good, set it and forget it type of play. It seems almost guaranteed. And, with a stop loss, I feel like a stop loss could be maybe right around 15 or maybe just below $15 a share. So that is something to consider with it. And actually, yeah, I mean, I might actually, this is a really cool suggestion. So I'm going to note it on my notepad. And maybe I'll do a video on it, but I did make a list of videos or tickers I want to go over tomorrow. Some of them because they're popular and some of them I just want to do because I need to be excited about the videos I make. Sometimes when I do videos and it's just, I'm not too compassionate about them. It gets hard to be producing content. I was a little burnt out this weekend. Just needed a couple days to relax. And so I see Horacio's comment. I just watched Eat the Rich on Netflix to get pumped on GME. And so, yeah, my question is, yes, and I can definitely do Canoo. And didn't Eat the Rich kind of, I felt like it was it wasn't a, I feel like it made Roaring Kitty look bad, needing somebody to blame, something like that. And yeah, I mean, I just felt like it was made from more of a corporate Netflix perspective rather than like a retail perspective. And so I think I watched that a while ago and I was kind of turned off by it. And so I'm just going to keep catching up on the comments, and also I'll add tickers up here. And hey, Ricardo, what's up? I see your request of ARCO, so I can definitely do ARCO, no problem. That is, I'm assuming this is correct, Arcos Dorados Holdings. So I can definitely do that one. And Retronome Radio, cool name. Workhorse, yeah, actually I was thinking, so I'll pull this up here. Let me see. I just have to open up so I'll just share tickers that I plan on making videos on tomorrow. Workhorse is one of them. I was thinking about, I just didn't have too much energy today, but I was thinking about, basically I did a members only stream earlier and my one member did not show up, but these are the ones that I'm considering doing for tomorrow. APLD was requested. I think it's actually been rejected from a level, so I think that's interesting. Luminar, I did a video on it about a week ago. I like to try and do things weekly. Also, I'm thinking about selling a cash secured put with a $1.50 strike, so that just seems intriguing. Rivian, I haven't done this one in a while, and I just like the stock. I don't hold it, so I want to follow up on that. Velo 3D did have a reverse split. I feel like Velo 3D and, Workhorse could potentially have the kind of move that Canoo had following their reverse split. And, I do have a position in Velo 3D, so I have an interest in making a video on that. My average, I believe, is $6 a share, so kind of disappointing, but I think I only have 17 shares, so not that bad. And then Workhorse, I was thinking about it, and it's like, well, I should see what price it opens up at or it's trading at because, it could be forming a double bottom. So I'll be doing a Workhorse video tomorrow for sure. So definitely we'll be doing that. But I will add it up here so I know that I need to cover it. And KAVL. Let's see, KAVL. I'll look over that. Just Google Unity buyout. There are rumors of repeat. Cool. Buyout. And, Eat the Rich is definitely the retail side of things. Cool, yeah, so I'll have to check that out. I actually don't have Netflix right now, and just so you guys know, there might be an ad popping up in about 1 second. But yeah, I will start to go over these tickers, and I will start with the one that was requested first, which was, okay, so I went over DJT, and the next one, and Horatio, if you do want me to go over GameStop, I can as well, but I think, whatever happens with GameStop, I think it's just going to be really dynamic around their meeting tomorrow. I'm really excited to stream that one. But, to get started, I will go over Canoo, which, let's see. Yeah, I feel like I have a calendar that I go over. This is kind of how I organize the videos I do. So the ones that I plan on doing tomorrow, Workhorse, Velo 3D, Applied, and I try to, these are the number of views that they get. So I try to go with ones that are popular. Oh, cannabis. I was actually thinking about doing one on Tilray, so I should add that to the list rather than doing all of cannabis because I just get overwhelmed. Those like multi-ticker videos really burn me out. And yeah, so GOEV is definitely on the list of ones that I could go over because it's received more than 100 views. That's kind of my threshold for repeat videos. But yeah, so this one looks kind of rough. Man, almost over 17%, almost 17.5% down on the day. Bearish engulfing candle. What did it pull back to? And so, looking at this, I don't think I can really say it pulled back to a key level or anything. But one thing that we can do from the low of Friday is we can draw a trend line, and that can serve as a guide moving forward. And so based on the low of 122 and the low from Friday, which was 144, I can adjust these lines and lock that into place so it won't be moving. And I can make that line a little bit thicker so it stands out more. Actually, I'm going to make it a lot thicker because that is a level we do not want to be getting any closes below. And so maybe I do want to also, this orange retracement, I think it's nice because it has the low of 207. That's a level that we do want to reclaim. We have consolidated around it and broken below it. This retracement here, I'm going to delete that. Same with this one. I don't think that adds too much value. And this trend line, I'll just leave it there because it's not in the way too much. But let's see. If I do, I can do an extension from the low. I'm going to do this to the penny. So I've got this marked. I've got the highs and lows marked. So I can just do this approximately. And this will give us some levels to the upside that we want to be getting at. So the low from Friday was 144. The high was 4809. So I got that. And the low over here was 122. So that is to the fraction of the penny, I got to say, because of up here it goes the fraction of the penny. And we can see that the level that we want to be getting above or starting to see acting as support, the 236 is at $2.28.7. Let's just think about it as $2.30. Pretty massively below that right now. And so, from this 144, don't want to get any closes below that, drawing this trend line. I think that's a good one to keep in mind because if we get a close below that, that's not looking so good. Let's see. I'm just going to read these, or I'll pull this up so we can kind of read it here. This is on Elon, so not necessarily on GOEV, but Elon Musk's super difficult Tesla goal. Fisker's troubles got worse. Faraday futures eyes affordable segment and more. So what do they say about, let's see, GOEV here. Lots of tickers in here that I've covered. And so I don't think it says anything about GOEV specifically other than that it came down a good amount. And so, I could draw another trend line here, but then that would just be, this one's uptrending, so we want to see that holding as support. If I draw a downtrending trend line, that would not be so good if we start breaking below these uptrends. So I feel like really, if there's a close below 144, maybe that's a fake out. But I feel like 144 is now like, we got that big wick down there, but let's see. So from the previous day's open, we got, went up almost, over 20%. So from the previous day's close, I should say, and then down from, I'm surprised it's saying 30 because, it went up the day before. Trying to draw, because that's right here. So 17, so that makes sense, that percentage move. So down here, that went down 33% and then pulled back up to here. And so I think that looks, I feel like 144 is a very important level to be paying attention to. And so with that being said, I feel like if there's a close below this uptrend, maybe not so bad, but if there's a close below 144, maybe that's a good stop loss level, because if it breaks below that, chances are it's going to be breaking below 122. Yeah, oh, and I did see the news that they got a 15 million cash infusion. I thought this was is it a Mexican company? I thought it was an international or non-American company. Or maybe not, maybe not. Let's see. Purchase of shares after 2 months. Yorkville would buy shares. Let's see. Regulatory filing that Yorkville. What's Yorkville? Yeah, so I noticed that there's some money going into them, but really like 15 million. It's not a huge amount of money, but relative to their market cap, which is not terribly large, that's more than a 10% increase, so that's good. Yeah, so I mean, I say 144 is an important one to be paying attention to in this uptrend. And so, yeah, I mean, I'll probably be doing a follow-up on Canoo within the next week, I imagine. So I'll have some more thoughts on that. So just going to catch up on the comments here. And let's see. I'm just going to read up on these. Thank you for doing Canoo. No problem. I hope that was helpful. But yeah, I mean, like, this is like not necessarily significant right now, this trend line, but it has potential to be a level, considering that there are 2 lows there, and then we did get a bounce from it. So maybe there's something with that line. So I'd keep an eye on that. Specifically, 144 is like, it's probably going notably lower if it closes below that. But it always could be a fake out. Fake outs are always tough to know. And so let's see. So I got some political comments and stuff. And so I'm not going to respond to those. You guys are welcome to chat about that stuff, but I don't want to get involved in that or speculate. Who knows who VPs will be. Let's see. DJT has 65% short volume last week. They are over leveraged. If it does pop back over 50, it could go parabolic. So yeah, I'll just follow up on that a little bit, because yeah, 50. Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of stocks that have, talk about them being shorted right now have a lot of potential to be going to, notably to the upside and getting to like this trend line or this Fibonacci level that I went over in the recent video. That is the 236 at a price of 48.50. So yeah, I mean, I think going to 50 is definitely feasible. But once it gets up there, there might be some pullback because of this channel. And I don't have a position in this, don't plan on getting one. I'm not, biased one way or the other, but just like looking at this channel, it really stands out to me because of these 3 pivot points and the intersection of this high from February 15th. That's just compelling to me. And so I am intrigued to see if it follows this channel, whether it does or does not. I don't have anything in it, but I find it compelling that there's this channel here. And so am I buying any commodity-based ETFs or stocks right now? So is what Jay asks. And so right now, I mean, I have positions in, let's see, I have 1 share of Cold, which is 2x leverage, short natural gas, which was a mistake. I'm just holding that. I think that I will buy 1 share of UNG, which is not leveraged natural gas, United States natural gas, at $17 a share. And, basically if that gets filled, then it's like, it doesn't matter what my KOLD position is. I would sell at a loss and then buy that 1 share of UNG. So that's kind of how I'm navigating that as far as natural gas goes. Gold, silver, don't have positions, not looking to buy. As far as shorting the market, I do have a position in SH. I can just pull those up real quick and then I'll get back to the list. But just kind of addressing this kind of casually. SH, I have an order, I believe. So for these 3 to add 1 more share, so nothing crazy. I have pretty small positions in them, and I've been building them based on dollar cost averaging 1 share at a time. Pretty boring. But with this gap down and stuff, with SH, 1164 or 1160, I'll pick up one more share. If that's the bottom, great. If it's not the bottom, I'll probably add another share next week, so nothing too exciting there. SPXU, I believe this is 3x leverage short the S&P 500. Yep, 3x leverage short. This one, again, based on, the closing price, I believe I'll pick up another share. I have a pretty small position in this because I learned about it later. I also do have a position in SQQQ, again, based on the closing price or the after hours price, I'm not sure. Pick up another share. I could see this finding support at $8.23, given that there's a perfect confluence of these two levels at $8.23. One of them being the, let's see, from this gray retracement going up here, the 1618 extension, and the other one being this Fibonacci extension from the high here to the low and up to the top here. The 382 from that is at 823. So I feel like it's pretty near a bottom, but again, I'm just dollar cost averaging. I think there will be a reckoning in the market at some point. So I'm kind of just waiting for that. And then also I am accumulating SOXS. My average is around 35, so right around here. I could have sold some, up at the top here, would have been a good thing, but I didn't do that. I could see resistance actually being around 31 or 32 at this level because of the bottom over here. And so this is, I believe, 3x leverage short. Yeah, 3x leverage short semiconductors. I feel like eventually there will be a reckoning with those as well as with the market. But I'm not very heavy in them because, just like from the movie The Big Short, Michael Burry was not wrong, but he was just very early. And so, I feel like I'm early with these. That's why I'm going pretty slow with them. And so I'm just going to pull up the request ones again and try to catch up with the comments. I see a comment on Big, so I will go over that as that was requested. And AMC shares went up last week. I hope everyone trading AMC knows they don't have to disclose anymore about daily dilution, is what Chris says. So I hope everyone trading AMC knows they don't have to disclose anymore about daily dilution. And so I hope there isn't more dilution with AMC. I feel like we need to see more upside. I feel like, though, the video that I just put out, I think it's like, I don't know if the thumbnail said, maximum infighting. I feel like with AMC, with GameStop, a lot of these, meme stocks, I feel like we're at a point where we just need to see everybody's expecting a big move to the upside. I think it's going to take longer than we expect for that to happen, to allow for more infighting, people to lose hope, faith, whatever. But yeah, I think that there is a lot of upside for them, but it's probably going to take longer than we expect, which maybe that's not this week, maybe it's next week, maybe it's not June, maybe it's July, I don't know. But I think that there's a lot of upside with them. And then I see that Gus is saying insiders do nothing but sell on FFIE. I can go over that one as well, but I do have some to catch up on. If a Mexican company invests in Canoo, then they might have to change their name to Chalupa, is Horacio's comment. Yeah. I will buy DJT at 35 is what Julie's saying. And so, yeah, 35, that's the golden pocket. So, for me, this is a nice example of just you want to be looking for a lot of technical levels. You want to see multiple things stack up. Testing the bottom of this trend line or this channel, maybe that's a good dip buy, but seeing the golden pocket there, I think that could be, you're seeing a fake out break and then a bounce. But of course, maybe it's not a fake out break and it continues lower. So good to be cautious with it. But yeah, I could see it coming down to 35, being right in the middle of that golden pocket, and then it going up. And so let's see. Crypto Maniac is saying 70s could be broke again. Easy in my opinion. I assume you're talking about DJT. It moves fast both ways. By the way, up or down, 55 break, it's 100 going to 70s. So yeah, it's been up to the 70s before, so I could definitely see that happening. But if you're talking about AMC or GameStop, I could see that as well. I think AMC will probably take a little bit longer to get there. But yeah, I'm just going to follow up with the comment on the ticker that was requested. So I just went over Canoo, and then I'll go over ARCO for Ricardo. Hopefully you're still here. And so yeah, Arcos, Dorados. I'm just going to pull up the profile, see what this is. And at first I'm going to have another sip of this because I'm 40 minutes into the stream. And you know, I don't want it to go much longer than an hour. So I got to prioritize here. So cheers, guys. Happy Sunday. Happy Father's Day to any of you who are fathers. I am not, but you know, happy Father's Day to you guys. Happy Sunday. It's going to be an exciting week. So cheers. And so Arco. Arcos Dorados Holding is a McDonald's franchisee. The company operates or franchises over 2,100 McDonald's branded restaurants. It divides its operations into 4 geographical divisions: Brazil, the Caribbean division consisting of Aruba, Colombia, Curacao, and French Guiana, Guadeloupe, Martinique, and Puerto Rico, Trinidad, Tobago, or is it Tobago? I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly or any of these incorrectly. The U.S. Virgin Islands, of St. Croix and St. Thomas, Venezuela. This is just going to go on. There are a lot of different Central and South American countries. So cool. I think it's really neat that it's a branch of McDonald's that focuses on Central, South, or the Caribbean, I should say, and South America. And so let's look at this. There's got to be a trend line that we can draw here that makes some sense, that might be suggesting where support might be found. And so I'm going to take a step back, look at this on the weekly. And so, yeah, if I draw a trend line here, that's going to suggest massive downside. So let's not do that. This one, it will also suggest massive downside, but I just want to see kind of where it takes us. Okay. And then from this low to this one, maybe there's something there. Maybe there's this hopium though. But, you know, I'll draw this to the lows. So this is 414. Let's see, 414. And this, let's see. I'll do it from this one. That low is 7. Oh, wait, no, I was doing the close. The low 691. All right, so there are those touch points. You can make that line a little bit thicker. And we're potentially at support. So I feel like this is kind of risky because it did close below it. I would look for a close below Friday's low, which is $8.97. Also $9 psychological level seems like it could be acting as support. We do have these lows over here around 850, so maybe that's something to pay attention to. And let's see, I am going to, yeah, this is on the weekly time frame. That's on the weekly time frame, so that's not Friday's low necessarily. So I'll switch over. This looks like it's kind of fading, so it's a little precarious right now. You know, and that's, the line could be drawn a little bit perfectly, more perfectly. You know, this got disconnected from, you know, because I drew it based on the weekly. But yeah, so from current price, we got highs over here. Maybe there's some support there. That makes a little bit of sense. Let's see, these highs right around 880, you know, just being approximate. I'll draw that line though to the penny. 880, perfect. Ah man, no, it's not perfect because there's a 2 on there for whatever reason. There we go. That seems like maybe it finds support down there. That level, you know, acted as resistance here, acted as support here before a big move up. Maybe it's going to act as support here. There was also a good amount of consolidation around there. So if we take a step back, just put this whole picture into frame, we actually don't see like much in the volume profile until coming down to around 850. And yeah, just because that's like, you know, the wick highs over here basically, but maybe it comes down lower for there to be a little bit more price action to serve as the floor. But yeah, I mean, this is potentially, I would say, like I would like it to hold where it's at, or 880, but coming down to 850. See, I mean, I guess it depends on, the time frame of this, but let's see. What's the measurement from the downside? That's only a 30% drop. I mean, this could be coming down more. And if I do flip over to the weekly, maybe we could do a Fibonacci retracement. Is this let's flip over to the monthly. Yeah, we can do, I don't know. I'll just do it from here. So that's 2020. It's this low, I believe. Yeah, so that's the pandemic low. So maybe there's something there. I'm just going to do this roughly. Fibonacci retracement from the low of 274. I can get that to the penny. Up to the high of 1313. Come on, there we go. All right, lock that into place. We are right around the 382. $8 is a 50% retracement, and that does correspond with, some wick highs over here and also the tops over here. So, yeah, I mean, there are a number of levels that this could be finding support at. Let's see. And I can draw a line from this high. That's at like right around 850. So, yeah, I mean, where do I see this stopping? I think just looking at the volume profile, and again with this time frame, the volume point of control is this middle line. That's at 726. So I feel like 726 is a good dip buying opportunity. I feel like with it at this price right now, it could be faking out below this. And considering that this is looking at the weekly time frame, maybe that's a good way to think about this. Who cares about what happens in the intraday or on the daily candles the next week? We want to see what the close is at next week. If the close of next week is lower than $9.11 or lower than $9, I think it's going down to maybe 850, maybe 880, or maybe 8. These levels that I've talked about. So potentially a really good dip buying opportunity, but it could be fading lower. So I'd be cautious with it. And there's an ad popping up in like 40 seconds. I'm going to review the comments to find the next ticker that I will be going over. And so let's see. Just scroll in here. And so ARCO did that. Workhorse. So I will definitely go over Workhorse, but probably briefly, because I don't think there's too much that is going to be useful, considering that there is a 1 for 20 reverse split that just happened, as far as I understand. Let's see, 1 for 20 reverse split. So, 15 cents, that is then going to be $3 a share, ad popping up in about 2 seconds. But, the thing that I see with this chart, and I will kind of pause my talking and just catch up on the comments real quick. So follow-up comment from PMG, does DJT have sell restrictions in place? I'm not sure. I don't know about that. As far as like whether Trump or others on the board on the company can sell it if they're not allowed to, I'm not sure. I don't follow it too closely other than looking at the chart or seeing that, it's moving violently and people are excited about it. But as far as talking about Workhorse goes here, I mean, it's 15 cents. That's going to be equivalent to $3. I'll probably do a video on it tomorrow because I imagine a lot of people are curious about it. I feel like there could be a double bottom formed. And like Canoo, how following their reverse split, we can just look at this. They had a 1 for 23, so pretty similar to a 1 for 20, although theirs was, an odd number. I don't know why they did that. Just like, let's see, following that announcement, which was on the 8th, we saw from the 8th, let's say just, from the open of that day, we saw a pullback of over 40%. So didn't look so good. Oh man, I didn't want to put that in there. But, following that 40% pullback, we saw a 280% swing to the upside. And so I feel like that could potentially be happening with Workhorse. But if it breaks below 15 cents, or what would be below $3 a share after the split, then maybe that's, dip buying opportunity, and maybe it would be taking off from there like what Canoo did. But let's see. I think that maybe we can draw a trend line here that could serve to, maybe guide in where price could be going. So I think this is a pretty compelling trend line. I don't know what you think about it. I drew it based on, the pivot points over here, and we did get, find some support in the middle, and we also did bounce from it here. That suggests price is going, pre-reverse split, that's negative. So maybe that's something I'll want to draw after the split. And so that's something I would like to do, although that does suggest a pretty massive downside move. That is, although, considering what happened with Canoo, 40% down move before a 200+% move to the upside, 50% drawdown would be returning to that level, that downtrend, and then maybe there'd be an up move, but maybe it could continue to bleed. Penny stock, especially, all of these like EV stocks, there are just a lot of them. And so they get to be pretty speculative in that sense. So they're pretty risky, but maybe considering the reverse split, maybe there's some volatility to the upside. But, Canoo, before, that reverse split, they're currently trading lower than that price. So I think it's good to, if one wants to diamond hand this, like I know Horatio is very intrigued by Canoo, maybe diamond hand a portion of it, but following news like this, good to definitely capitalize on this, sell some shares, and then buy back lower. And so if Workhorse does something similar, then, I think that it could be a nice way to trim. If it goes up 100%, maybe take half the position off the table and then just, playing with house money after that. But I will probably do a video on this tomorrow, as I imagine a lot of people are curious about it. And it was one of my more recent, nicely performing videos. So, yeah. And so, yeah, I don't know what chalupa is other than the beef supreme chalupa from Taco Bell. So maybe I should look that up. I am going to, with Google Translate. I know a little bit of Spanish, but I'm not, and I've spent some time in Italy, so my Spanish kind of got mixed up with that. So I'm just going to look up chalupa. Maybe that's some slang. Chalupa. Shallop? Shallop? I don't know what that means. But yeah. And yeah, no problem, Ricardo. Glad that was helpful. And let's see. The next ticker on the list, or the request list, and let's see. That is Workhorse did that. And I have a so Oleg says just Google Unity, so I will do that. I might do a video on them. I don't know if tomorrow, because I kind of have this list of other tickers that I previously covered. Horatio says Eat the Rich, definitely on the retail side of it. So if you guys are interested in like the GameStop saga, meme stock saga, Eat the Rich on Netflix, check it out if you haven't. And yeah, no problem, Horatio. And they got some stuff on. Oh wait, there's one. KAVL is one that I kind of missed. So I will go over that one. And so, NASCAR. Hey man, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back to the stream. What will the next KAVL be heading into this week? Okay, so talking about KAVL going up 338%. What will be the next one heading into the week? Does anybody have any thoughts on what will be squeezing 338%? Gap up, pulling back 25%. I wonder if there's another leg up for this. I don't really trade stuff like this, unless it's something that I've been accumulating for a while. But yeah, I mean, this could pull back to, the gap fill is coming back to Thursday's close, which is 136. So that's a pretty massive gap fill. But maybe it would find support around 341 or 350 if it does pull back, and I could see that. Current price is 450, so that is, let's see, right around where the cursor is there. I could see maybe there being a dip buying opportunity on this one around 350. Maybe it gets another leg up, or another attempt at the highs of Friday, which was $8.37. But yeah, to swing, not to diamond hand, not to hold. I don't know anything about this company. And let's see. It has been pretty beaten down. Did recently have a 1-for-21 reverse split. I hate it when they're odd numbers. I just hate it. I'm sorry. At least you got to have a 0 in that ones place. Otherwise, or maybe 25. That's a quarter. But I just find it really annoying for shareholders, especially ones that don't have large positions. I don't tend to have super large positions. Oh, and big lots. I don't think I've gone over big lots, so I should do that. And then I think I will go over FFIE. And then that puts me about at an hour. And so, yeah, and so John's saying, how are we doing tonight, folks? We are doing good. And since, so I just started a membership thing. So I was doing an hour stream before this one. I'm probably going to try to close this around an hour. So if there are any last minute ticker requests, let me know in the chat. Otherwise, I'll probably be closing this down after I do BIG and FFIE because those were mentioned. I think I've gone over everything on the list there. Maybe I'll go over AMC and GameStop and maybe mention what GameStop is trading at on Robinhood right now. Although I think it's pretty, risky to be trading based on the overnight trading on GameStop because it's, it's Robinhood. And NASCAR is saying under 10 million shares outstanding, trading between 50 cents and $1 with average daily volume below 100K. That was what was hot last week. Week prior to that, stocks running were below 50 cents. I've seen a lot of bullish sentiment on AMD this week on X. Yeah, John, I saw, I believe it was TrendSpider posted. I can actually pull it up. I'll just flip over to X right now. And let's see. Just pull up TrendSpider. They did something on AMD. Let's see. Apple, SPY, Trend. Oh, this is Tesla, Dell, AMD. Yeah, so they've got this pattern drawn here. Compressed is an understatement, suggesting that this will squeeze, I imagine. Although a lemon, I think, is a precarious fruit to suggest for a squeeze because lemons are not, you take a lemon, you make lemonade. And actually, maybe that's a good one. You squeeze it to make lemonade, it goes up. So, yeah, it's an unsqueezed lemon. It's pre-lemonade. So, this looks like it could be going up from current price. I guess the closing price is around 160. And it looks like it could be heading up to above 200. So maybe AMD is good. I'm going to like this one because I've got to share the love. And I will be pulling up, let's see, big lots and then FFIE. And so, yeah, so I just did a video on big lots. It looked to me like there were a number of signs. And Mac, I don't know if you're still around, but if you have some thoughts on this, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. I think you mentioned stuff above, but kind of tough to sift through the chat. But yeah, I saw a number of signals here that were suggesting a bottom was in. We got a little bit of a bounce, and it looks like price is going lower. I feel like $2 a share, that's potentially, an important level that will hopefully be holding, maybe getting some wick belows to test this downtrend. So it's not a parallel channel, but it's just based on the lows over here. And so I find that compelling. And so what I did with big last week, I bought a call with a I think $3 strike for $5. I'm going to lose that $5, no big deal. But in having just recently learned about selling cash secured puts, I can go over those a little bit with Big. I did sell a cash secured put with a strike of 250 for Big. And so that means if Big closes below $2.50 on Friday, which I suspect they will, I will then have to buy 100 shares at 250. But since it's a cash secured put, I already have that cash set aside to buy those shares, so it's not really a big deal. And I did get paid a premium to sell that cash secured put. And the premium that I got is 25 cents times 100 shares. It's $25. So effectively, my average share price, considering the call that I'm going to lose $5 on, and considering the premium that I got of $25, so that's $20 basically made there, and then buying, 100 shares at 250, that puts me at an average share price of, so that's 20 cents minus that, so that's $2.30 would be my average effectively. But if we look over at the options table, I got puts pulled up because I've been looking at cash secured puts. I find them really interesting. And so to sell a cash secured put with a strike of $2.50, that would net you $10 premium. So that's kind of intriguing, but I had sold mine for 25 cents, $25. So not looking as good, but in order to sell or in order to buy a put, it would cost $45. So like if I were to ditch my position there, I would then have to buy that put back for $45. I'd be out $20. And so instead, I'm just going to hold my cash, or, I'm going to let my cash secured put be assigned, and then I will buy 100 shares at 250 because I think we could be seeing some bounces around the $2 level. And then, looking at calls, if I were to establish a position, 100 shares at $2.50, I could then be looking to sell covered calls with a strike of $2.50 and then collect premium on that. And so this is, 2 weeks out, July 19th expiration. I could collect a premium of $10 a share, and I could just kind of like rinse and repeat, do that over and over, collect premium over and over with that strike of 250, and then to kind of get my average down or just rinse and repeat, make some more money. But then after July 19th, because these are monthlies, 250 here, that's $30 premium. So that would then get my average effectively down to $2 a share. So I just find cash secured puts, selling covered calls, I feel like selling options both ways, very intriguing. Whereas buying them, I feel like is more like gambling. But with this, let's see. I think I drew all these lines in the video. So I think $2, given that we hit a low of 206 on Friday, I think $2 is a pretty important level. And we haven't seen any wicks below it. So, maybe we don't see any in the bottoms in, but I suspect we see a wick down to maybe 190. And maybe that's a dip buying opportunity. Because I think we're at this trend line at $2 a share. I think there are a lot of levels there that could suggest the bottom is near, but who knows? And so Trey, what's up? Your comment is that what about a look at SPY and some predictions for Monday moving for 0 days? So you do the 0 days to expiration options. With SPY, they do them daily, is my understanding. So I'll look over that in a second, but somebody did request FFIE, so I will go over them real quick as well. And John, hopefully the Trend Spider post on AMD that I shared, hopefully that is helpful. And I might actually just quote this. This came up in the live stream. Thanks for the great chart on. So hopefully that's helpful. And then so let's see. I got SPY, And so I'll put SPY here just to remind myself. And Oleg saying GameStop makes Citron Research juicy squeeze. Last time on media, he looked like an entire Citron after seeing his brokerage account. Margin Citron. Yeah, so I like Andrew Left is the guy, and it's been really amusing to see him speaking about it. And now Citron Research has closed their short position, or so they say. Yeah, but I find it funny that there's Citron Research because they're looking for lemons, but then those lemons can squeeze. So it's kind of like, hey man, you're an asshat. But let's see, FFIE. Haven't done this in a while. I mean, I drew this Fibonacci extension, so going from the low here, or approximate low, I guess it could be a fraction of a penny lower. So I'm just going to adjust that 84381. So I want to do this at 380, going up to the high of 390. So delete that, and then coming down to the low, I'm going to assume that low is correct. It's a little bit off. 3906. So I'll draw that to the fraction of a penny. 3906. Okay, so with FFIE, it does look like it's been holding this level. However, following this big down move, it could be a bear flag. It does look pretty extended, like it's been holding it for quite some time, so maybe it's not a bear flag anymore. Let's see, got a surge in volume here when it went up a little bit, but got rejected. Volume's just been low, so I'd look for it to hold 39 cents. If it breaks below and gets a close below 39 cents, I don't think that's so great, but there is a gap here. The, let's see, close on May 14th was at a price of 28.52 cents. That still needs to be filled. So maybe a look for that. I think there are probably some other gaps here. Let's see, the close here was 6.10 cents. The low here was 9 cents. There's another gap there. So there's some gaps to the downside. So yeah, I mean, for me, FFIE just seems like a very speculative play. So I trade it cautiously. This could very well be breaking to the downside, getting down to like 16 cents. But at least, I see that this gap here is based on the close from the 14th, like I just said, 28.52. That is that price. So keep an eye out for that one. And so with that, I'm going to go over SPY, and then I'll probably just close on AMC and GameStop. And so the SPY here, I'm actually going to flip over to my indexes list because I've done most of my analysis on the SPX, broken above this uptrend. So I feel like it's overbought right now. I mean, you can see it in the RSI 72.31, so it technically is overbought. Higher highs in the price, whereas the RSI is not higher than the highs from over here, but it could always break higher. If price surges higher, RSI would surge higher. It needs to get above, let's see, 82.18. If it gets above that, then that would negate any bearish divergence. But, bearish divergence, it could continue to go higher before that. Maybe this tops out, the RSI tops out at 80 with price going up higher. And so with that being said, I could see it pulling back to 5,000 a share. But it could also go higher. My shorts, I'm not concerned about them, but they have not been producing any yields. So shame on me. I've been bad with those. So before I do this, I'm going to have a little bit more of this. I did say I would finish this before the stream, and I'm probably going to end it pretty soon. So I need to catch up on this. So cheers to you guys. Happy Sunday. Happy Father's Day. And happy start to a short, interesting week. Trading days Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesdays off for Juneteenth, and then Thursday and Friday. And I am not working every day this week other than Thursday. So maybe I can do some streaming the closes, but streams, don't really, as far as ad revenue, they're not really that great. So I might not do too many streams this week or moving forward, and try to just focus more energy on doing videos. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Juneteenth. That's actually, I wasn't, growing up, I wasn't familiar with Juneteenth, and is now, I feel like it's a new national holiday for the U.S. That is the abolishment of slavery. So a pretty important day in American history. And I believe the actual day was June 18th, but we celebrated on June 19th. And so I'm not exactly sure on that. I did not learn about it growing up, just until like the past couple of years. But yeah, I mean, the job that I have, we have off that day, and I'm taking Monday and Tuesday off, and I'm not working Friday. So I think it's a great holiday that we have. It just happens to fall on a Wednesday, so we've got a 2-day trading week followed by a 1-day weekend, 1-day holiday, and then a 2-day trading day. So it's going to be an interesting week in the markets. Might not be too much volume traded on it. But anyways, thinking about options here. And so Trey is interested in the 0 days to expiration options. So with that being said, we've got options that expire on June 17th. And so we're looking at the premium for buying them is going to range from about $100 to $150. And so with price just being above 542, I might want to switch over to shorter time frame candles, maybe the 10-minute. And so from this, I feel like maybe I don't want a array, I want a trend line. So we've just got, this has been respected for the most part, gotten some wicks above. And so let's see, $543 seems like a level we might wick above on Monday, but close above if this trend line is to be respected. And again, this is on the 10-minute time scale. And so I'm going to look at the 500. Crap, I think that there's an ad inserted. Sorry about that. It caught my eye right as it was popping up. But Trey, I think you mentioned you have the ad blocker on, so that ad's not disrupting you. And so looking at this, 543, I think that's an appealing level that we might wick above on Monday, but then close below. And so let's see, 543. And so that is above us. These are out of the money up here. That's why they're cheaper. And so, man, I'm looking at this as being like short, I guess, because I think it would be wicking above, but then closing below. And so, yeah, I mean, what could be done is with price, where it's at now, 543 strike. Price is below 543. So, yeah, and also, I mean, looking at this now, because it's 0 days to expiration, let's see what the theta is. The theta is 20 cents. 21, 22 cents for these. Really like 22 cents for these two, that are straddling the price right now. So what I could see as happening is both of these dropping 22 cents at open. And so I think in the money, safer. And so this could be, I would say, a 542 strike. I would think that price would go up to 543, but get rejected and pull back. So I would think maybe you want to note this trade, because I know that you keep track of this stuff and do your paper trading of in the money calls. And so I could see this going from so let's see if this drops 22 cents based on the theta decay. That would put this at 130, And so let's say it goes 10 cents lower than that, so 120. I could see this strike, the 542 strike, dipping to 120 and then closing. I don't know what it would close at because I don't think it's, I think it probably closed similar to, what it closed at today. Maybe lower even. I'm not going to check my notifications. I'll do that later. At the options table, that's what I want to pull up. And the reason why I keep screwing up is because I had an old fashioned when I was doing the lonely stream. Vince was supposed to join. Trey, you can give him a hard time about this. Vince is the only member to the channel, and he didn't tell me he was not going to be there. I could have communicated with him better. But I did a stream for him and actually had the audio off for the first 15 minutes of it. I had screwed up. And but he didn't show up. I just responded to comments during it. So, oh well. Experimenting with the membership on the channel. Trying to figure out how to make the channel have most value, for everybody. And yeah, sometimes, okay, so yeah, looking at the chart, I'm going to stop rambling about the channel and talk about the options here. So, but actually, I'm going to see what Trey's thinking here. Thanks, appreciate, see the chart and RSI and all that. I'm still so new, so I appreciate seeing it from another perspective, though. Thanks, cheers. Wait, why is Wednesday no trading? That's because of Juneteenth. So June 19th is a national holiday, which I believe was enacted just a few years ago. And actually, for my job, we are allotted a certain number of holidays, and so the union or whatever decides on which days we celebrate as holidays. And this year, I was disappointed by it. My birthday is around Martin Luther King Day, and that's just like a really special day for the country for so many reasons. And so we didn't have Martin Luther King Day as a holiday, which I found surprising and kind of insulting, but instead we have Juneteenth as a holiday, and it's a much better time of year here. I'm in Iowa. January is miserable, and so having a holiday in June is much nicer than in January. So I actually think it was really good, and also it's raising more awareness on the abolishment of slavery and that day. So I think that's I think that's progress as far as the country goes. Although it would be nice if it was like a Monday or a Friday. It happens to be right in the middle of the week. They got rid of slavery. Yes, yeah. And that's that's June 19th, but which I think happened on June 18th, but it's celebrated on June 19th. All right, then I guess I'll start saving up for something different then. I feel like it will close lower tomorrow as well. What a guy, Vince. Yeah, I messaged him on X and he didn't respond. And this is for me, the way that I view YouTube is it's an experiment. So like my background's doing research as an oceanographer, and that didn't, seem to be very fruitful as far as like a future for me goes. But I just view YouTube making videos always as an experiment. I'm always kind of evaluating the results, what gets views, what doesn't. What works, what doesn't, what could work better. And so, the membership thing is totally an experiment right now. And I think it's probably going to be a failed experiment, but that's fine. And so SPY, as far as trading the options, I am not keen on doing 0 days till expiration options. This is crazy to me. I am not good enough with options. Like I've been experimenting with options based on the monthly and or week past monthly contracts. And, I've posted on the Discord my AMC positions. Once the 21st happens, I'll share what I lost money on, what I made money on. And for the most part, I think it's going to show that the majority of the contracts I'll have lost money on, but not much money. And the intention was to increase my position. that will play out because I think that AMC will be closing above $3 a share on Friday. And basically tomorrow on Monday, I plan on exercising the call that I have. If in case it doesn't close above $3 a share, I want to secure that I get, 100 shares at $3 a share because that's worth it to me. And with the premium that I paid, that's fine. I think it puts my average at between $4 and $5 a share, and that's fine. And so, John, I see your comment. Speaking of Juneteenth, there was a shooting last night at a Juneteenth festival last night in my town. That sucks. It's terrible to hear. Yeah. And so sorry about that. I didn't know about that, and I don't know how to respond to such bad news when streaming, when live and stuff. But yeah, hopefully nobody was seriously injured. No, hopefully nobody died, and hopefully the person, the perpetrator, the shooter is in custody, and to pay the price of the actions that they did. I feel like the easy way out for those people is always to end their lives, and they should. Not necessarily going through the justice system is necessarily just. Sometimes it can be unfair or not as extreme as it should be, but yeah, it can be an easy way out, and I think that the process of being on trial, I think, is important. Crazy world nowadays, for sure. Yeah, I feel like the big thing as far as events go, I wasn't too aware of it. And actually, I was, I mentioned a career as an oceanographer. I was at sea right before starting grad school when The Dark Knight Rises came out. And there's a horrible shooting in Colorado. And also just thinking about, I didn't see the movie with Mark Wahlberg, but the movie about the Boston Marathon. And just like, whenever there are crowds, you never know. But that's also, part of our freedom, part of our liberty is to be able to go to such events and not be afraid. So, yeah, I think it's an interesting time in the country. And by that, it's like there are a lot of terrible things going on, but there are also a lot of good things going on too. The, accessibility that we have, with our technology and stuff gives us a lot of freedoms. So John saying, I think it was 3 dead, 7 wounded. They didn't catch the suspect, which is even more bizarre. Yeah, that's horrible. Yeah, and too, like so I have a family member that I lost, not to a shooting or anything like that. But I feel like with stuff like that, it's always so painful to think about the families because the people who died, they're at peace or, whatever, however you want to think about that. But it's like their suffering's over. But then it's like the mothers, the fathers, on Father's Day, the siblings, the partners have to go through with that. And it's, those who are lost are, it's those that are around them that really suffer. So it's tough news. I hope that the 7 that are wounded make full recoveries. And it sounds like it could have been worse. It could have been 10 dead. So that's glass half full. But yeah, so I went over to segue back to the charts. I'm going to go back to the request list. I think there was one other that was requested last minute. Actually, no, I don't think there was. I went over SPY and the options. Oh, yeah, GameStop and AMC. So I'll mention AMC, my thoughts on AMC. And I'm going to cheers to all of us who are holding, who are considering, maybe who were holding, maybe you took profits, whoever, whatever. No judgment. You got to take care of yourself. And I think, just looking at the chart here, I think that there's a lot of upside, but I think it might take a little while to get there. But cheers to all of this. AMC is, why I'm still, in the markets, why I decided to not give up, why I'm streaming. And I think that the channel has grown a lot because of AMC and GameStop as well. So cheers to all of you guys. And so I'll go over the charts here in a second. And there's just enough in there for me to do one swig, and then that will end the stream. And so, yeah, AMC, for me, like I went over this in the video that I put out. Hopefully it holds this uptrend. I feel like there's a lot of, like everybody's expecting it to go higher. Same with GameStop. And I feel like that's when things tend to go south. When everybody thinks one thing, the opposite tends to happen. And, like with this uptrend, I think these levels could be swept. I think we could be seeing $4 a share. I think that could be an excellent dip buying opportunity. But maybe that doesn't happen, and maybe it does respect this uptrend, and maybe we squeeze up to 12 or higher, and then maybe pull back to 8, making a progression higher. And so I think that's pretty interesting. Excuse me. So the beer, has its, or the beverage, I should say, it's a beverage, has its consequences. So sorry if I've been a little belchy. But yeah, AMC, I'm excited to see what happens with it during the week. I do plan on exercising my $3 strike call that expires on Friday, picking up 100 shares. I'm excited about that. Other than that, I'm going to just try to evaluate the other calls that I have. And if they go green at all, basically, I'm going to sell them for the premium just because it's getting a little too risky now, getting so close to expiration. I have some calls that expire on the 21st and 28th, so the following Friday. And then I also do have, I believe, one call, I think with a $6 strike in June for the monthly contracts there. See what happens with that one. With GameStop, I'm going to pull up a tweet from Roaring Kitty, but before I do that, and this was actually mentioned by Kat Stryker. I don't know if you follow her. She does a lot on AMC, but also holds GameStop. I feel like she's really been like a leader or cheerleader, however you want to think about it, regarding AMC and the 8 movement and stuff. And so, yeah, just, a really good person to go to if you're losing conviction. And so that's kind of what I've tried to be with this channel, is the weekly videos on AMC, keeping up with that conviction. Because I didn't buy it to sell it at current price. But GameStop was up a little bit earlier, but does look like it's pulled back some. It's up about almost 2% in the overnight trading, around $29.21 is the current price as I look at it. So up some, but not much. And so I'm going to pull up this Roaring Kitty tweet that was actually shared by Kat Stryker. So I'm going to pull up her tweet. So yeah, good person to follow if you're into AMC. As far as retail for Kat goes, I kind of feel like that's just, retail's getting trolled by that name and stuff. It's just too perfect. But yeah, she had a post. She's very active, as you can see, but she reposted something that I had liked on, very active, sharing everybody's post, but she did one on, maybe it'd just be quicker if I went to this one. So she said, first circle, little run, second circle, smaller run, third circle, bigger run. But there's something else that's missing from this, and I'm probably going to go over this in the next GameStop video that I do, which will probably be on Friday. And so we've got this first circle little run. And so if we look at that, we see this little run here. This little run represents, from where I draw this trend line, represents a move of almost 500%. So it's kind of a big little run. And then we get this other smaller run, which is, depicted here based on the, I didn't realize this because I'm not like OG GameStop. I didn't go there as a kid. But this is a bigger GameStop logo, and then a smaller one, and then a very massive one, third circle, bigger run. And so that's suggesting that we will be eclipsing $65 a share, likely getting into $100 a share range. And so whether that happens this week, or I imagine after the 21st, after options that have a $20 strike close in the money, a lot of people exercise those unexpectedly. I think that could really trigger, some moves to the upside. All investor, I will close on Biora, no problem. That will be the last one I do for this stream. And yeah, so with this though, I think that there's some potential upside, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click on this, and there should not be any audio. I'm going to mute my audio, and so we can just kind of watch this, and this is, just scrolling through it, so we see that first one, then we see the second one that's smaller, and then the next one that's larger, but then note, wait, man, I gotta pause this right at the end. So I think that this is a really important thing to be paying attention to. Right there. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's behind me. I'm going to make myself vanish for 1 second. Let's see. Right behind me. Do you see that? This here. So I think what we might see, what we've seen, I'm just going to flip over to the chart here. We saw a big move and a smaller move. I'm going to switch back over to here. We saw a big move, a smaller move. The next one is going to be ginormous. We have not seen that yet. If we look at the chart, that would be eclipsing $65 a share. I'm not going to speculate on how much higher it will go, but I think it suggests higher than 65. I imagine higher than 100. But then following that big move, we will see another little one. And so that could be suggesting that when we get this big move, we hold that level and then maybe we see a double top. And that suggests that the top is in, and that is an indication of when to sell or trim or whatever you want to do. Diamond hand, all you want. But I think that is interesting that Kat was talking about the third one, but there is actually, just removing myself once more, there is a smaller one that we should be paying attention to, and that he included that. I think that's something that's worthy of noting. And so don't let that slip by you, because, as things go up, we can still be bag holders. So do be cautious when trading. And now I will pull up Biora. This is one I have not been adding to because, like the last video that I talked about, dip buying at 40 cents, it didn't do that. And so I've just been chilling, because I have a lot of shares. I can share how large my position is. I mean, it's a cheap stock, so it's not cash-wise a huge position. But if you're curious, my position is, let's see, I sell covered calls with it. I have 1,480 shares, almost 1,500 shares. And so, I would, if it would come back to 40, come back to test this trend line, I'd buy more. I could say, 100 or 110 or 120 to get my average to around, divisible by 100, because I like to sell covered calls with like a $2, $2.50 strike, which is right around my average. Yeah, so Trey, mentioning the GameStop thing, didn't notice the smaller one at the end before. This whole GameStop debacle is so entertaining. I hope I also make money as well as being entertained. Yeah, so, and I think that, whether you can tune into it live, sorry to derail the Biora, but I will continue with it. But as far as the GameStop stuff goes, I think that their stockholder, not shareholder, stockholder meeting tomorrow is going to be really interesting. I'll be streaming that, looking at the chart as it happens. I wonder, and I imagine he will, Roaring Kitty will make an appearance there, or, vocal appearance. It's a very interesting time for the meme stocks, because I think just like the fundamentals of GameStop have very much changed. Largely not being in debt, having a large cash position, whereas AMC still has a notable amount of debt. So that's something to be considerate of, I guess I should say, not necessarily concerned of, but, be aware of. And so Jeff saying, anyone trading AMC tomorrow? So for me, I am probably going to exercise my $3 strike call that expires on Friday. And so I'm excited about that. But other than that, if it pulls back, I'll add some more. but I tend to be pretty slow in my dollar cost averaging. But that's why I've kind of been getting more interested in calls and either buying calls or selling cash secured puts to accumulate more shares. I think it's really interesting. And I was actually interested to, I'll go over AMC and then I'll come back to Biora, but I'll just do this really quick. So with AMC, I don't have enough cash in my account right now to do this, considering that I'm going to exercise my $3 strike AMC call. But as far as puts go, selling cash secured puts, I'm really intrigued by the $4 strike for Friday, because like with price being right around $5 a share, I'd be happy to buy 100 shares at $4 a share. And so if one has $400 in their account, if let's say, I'll just say, if I have $400 on the side in my account, I could sell a cash secured put that would say, basically this 4-cent premium, that's 4 cents times 100, I would get $4, because that's 4 cents times 100 in premium. I'd get paid $4 to then set aside $396, totaling $400 with that premium. If price does close below $4 a share on Friday, on the 21st, I would then have to buy 100 shares at $4 a share. That's totally appealing to me. So I'm really intrigued by selling cash secured puts with the $4 strike. That seems intriguing to me, but I don't think I have the cash on the side in my account to do that. But cash secured puts are like a really intriguing way, in my opinion, to be accumulating shares. And so I'm intrigued by the $4 strike, or, could even do the $3.50, get $2 for that, or $3, get $1 for it. So I just think cash secured puts are really cool. But anyways, back to Biora. Sorry, Jeff's travels. And so, John, yes, the GameStop shareholder meeting is tomorrow. I will be streaming it. And the benefit of watching it on the channel here rather than just tuning into it directly is that I'll be going over the charts. Whereas if you dial in, they won't be. But you can also pull up the charts on your computer if you want. And so I'd assume that it'll be very volatile for both GameStop and AMC is what John's saying. Roaring Kitty makes an appearance. I agree. I think that's likely to happen. Or a vocal appearance in the meeting, and they'll take away buy button again. Who knows? That's speculation. We'll see. I think both have a lot of upside moving forward, not just the week ahead, but weeks, months ahead. So I'm excited about them. But with Biora, the thing that stands out to me with the chart is maybe this is a bull flag. Although, I had this level drawn back here, 75.60. I imagine I went over that in the last video that I did on Biora. That was resistance over here. I kind of vividly remember mentioning this just because it consolidated just below that. And right now we're consolidating below it again. And, if we think about this relative to volume, the moves up here, volume went up. And volume's been relatively low, or at least not, too excited. The RSI here with that wick high of 79 cents, RSI was 58.8. Now it is 56.45. That is lower highs in the price, lower highs in the RSI. So there's not bearish divergence. That's based on the tops. If we look at the bottoms of the RSI, higher lows in the price. So no bullish divergence either. But yeah, for me, let's look at the volume profile. It's holding that. I think that this is probably going to be breaking higher. Let's see, news, Benzinga, Biora Therapeutics says company did not regain compliance with Nasdaq's MVLS rule by June 10th. And so that is, they need to be above $1 a share. So notified that its securities were subject to delisting from Nasdaq unless company, so this is from Reuters, I never know how to say that. Staff notified Co. that its securities were subject to delisting from Nasdaq unless company timely requests hearing before panel. I imagine that will happen, and I could see this being a bull flag and a breakout, getting to this downtrend. That's around 90 cents. We want to be seeing price above $1 a share. Maybe it's breaking out, but maybe we unfortunately have to see a reverse split. So I think it's a little precarious. And I'm just going to type up because Jeff has typed something that I can't see. OPTT had a buzz also this weekend. Is OPP or OPTT, is that Ocean? Yeah, power tech. I was very intrigued by this because, my background is studying the ocean. I studied more the chemistry than the physical properties of it, which would be like waves and, wave energy. But I think it's a very, applicable way to kind of apply one's degree to generating money. But this, stock, this company has been kind of a drag over time, as you can see. And so maybe there's some buzz. Maybe there's a bottom, but maybe it keeps bleeding. Volume has been going down as prices have been going down. So maybe that suggests there's a bottom. RSI is 24.36, below 30. So it does look like the bottom could be in, but it also could keep going lower. But with that, we could, draw. I'm just going to do a trend line. So this is kind of casual, connecting with lows there. But, oops, I got to do this. Yeah, so maybe this is finding a bottom, but it could just continue to bounce and go down, still respecting that trend line. But yeah, so that's an interesting one. And so I'm just going to flip back over to GameStop because I feel like it is the chart of the hour. And I'm probably going to end the stream because I've gone well over an hour and I don't want to make it too long. Also, I think House of the Dragon is available to watch, so I kind of want to watch that tonight and not be up too late. I actually went into work really early today to pick up some overtime. I just went in for a couple hours, but that screwed me up because I came back home, napped on the couch, and I've just been tired all day. But anyways, I got a little bit left in this, so cheers to you guys. If you didn't hear it before, happy Father's Day. And, I'm really excited for the week ahead and for the GameStop call tomorrow. And if you also did not see it earlier, I will be going over these tickers, probably doing tickers on these tomorrow. This one was requested, Applied Digital. Luminar did one on that about a week ago and like to do a follow-up, largely based on selling a cash secured put with a price of a strike of $1.50, largely because I'd like to pick up more shares and I'm fine with it being at $1.50. But I'm also just happy to take the premium if it closes above $1.50 on Friday. Rivian, haven't done a video on them in a while. Velo 3D has already had a reverse split. I hold some, wanted to share my perspective on that. Workhorse just went through a reverse split. I want to share my perspective on that. So this price of 15 cents a share will be $3 a share at open as far as I understand. But, with that being said, cheers to all of you guys. Happy Sunday. And if you have not already liked the stream, make sure you do so and like any of the videos that you do enjoy or, all of them just to show your support. And make sure you always share your thoughts in the comments down below of any video or in the live chat. Always happy to hear from you guys. And I'm trying to keep up with responses, but it can take a lot of time to do that. So I'm going to try to get the videos out like on that list that I just went over and make sure those get out. So I'm keeping up with videos, keeping up with the views. And and also I imagine you're all subscribed. If not, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate it. And I will be putting out more videos tomorrow along with doing the GameStop stockholder meeting. And I should note, in that video, in that stream that I have on the channel, you should be able to find it. You can find the GameStop information on their website from news releases that they did adjust the meeting to 11:30 a.m. Central, which is convenient for me because I'm in Iowa, and so that's I don't have to do a time change. But I try to list all of my times on the East Coast because it is the stock market, and just to be consistent with that. But with all of that being said, thank you so much for joining. I hope you guys are excited for an interesting week ahead with the holiday, with GameStop, with AMC, and a lot of other tickers. I think it's going to be an exciting one, and I will be making videos throughout. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. Get some sleep, and I look forward to seeing how the market opens.